Wait, William is standing on his own. Come here and see it. I was shocked, and a strange voice came out of me.
No way. What are you talking about? Huh?
My husband was shocked too. My father-in-law looked at us with kind eyes and said,
Well, let us go camping.
My name is Luna, a 55-year-old housewife. My husband, Harry, is an ordinary businessman of the same age. My son, Ronald, also a businessman, is married and is the father of a little boy who is not yet 1 year old. His wife is a very nice person, and our families get along well. The only problem was the conflict with my husband's family. It goes back to when our marriage was finalized. I was 27 years old and I met Harry at my workplace. I had heard that he had grown up in a very normal family, but when it came time to marry him, I found out that he actually came from a very wealthy family, and that the rest of his family had brilliant backgrounds. His parents had a successful business career running a trading company, and his brother, Fred, 2 years younger than my husband, had graduated from a very prestigious national university and has started a successful IT venture company since then. Fred was married before Harry, and his wife was also a career woman. When it was time to meet his family, "So, you are the future wife of Harry? You must be happy to be the bride of a wealthy family like ours." That's what my mother-in-law, Molly, said to me. Moreover, my brother-in-law's wife and mother-in-law seemed to be on the same wavelength and got along very well. I felt a little uneasy, but Harry said,
Don't worry. My mother hated me for a long time, and I hardly socialize with my family at all.
I believed my husband's words, and we got married. After we were married, Molly was always sarcastic to me. When I gave birth to my first son by cesarean section after a difficult delivery, she said,
Cesarean section is such an easy way to give birth. Fred's wife had a natural birth, but it was super easy. I'm sure a well-educated career woman has a different quality in what she does.
When my son went to elementary school,
Fred's son is going to a famous private elementary school.
My husband is unperturbed, but one day he told me this story.
I've always been compared to my brother. I was just average in everything I did, but my brother was smart, athletic, and could do anything. So my mother's only concern was Fred. She always put him first in everything. My only escape was my father. He treated me and my brother equally. But my mother didn't like that, and I think that's when my parents' marriage started to deteriorate.
My husband is right. My father-in-law, William, is a very gentle and kind man. When Molly said terrible things to me, he would casually send me follow-up emails, and sometimes he even apologized to me. It was William who gave my son a beautiful school bag when he started elementary school, and it was William who supported our family emotionally and financially when my husband failed at his job and was temporarily transferred to another region. My father-in-law retired from running his trading company at the age of 75. Molly stepped down at the same time, too. And here we are today. I have come to appreciate William more than words can express. But then, William suffered a blow to his tailbone. He slipped on the stairs at home. Worried, I went to my husband's parents' house and found Molly and Fred, and Molly said, "Oh, William is so careless. He's going to have to rest for a while. So I'm thinking about you moving in with us."
Are you talking about us?
Harry asked, and Molly answered, "No, who would live with a couple like you who are so normal at anything? With Fred and his wife, who are the best at everything, I don't have to worry about my future anymore." That's what she said. And so my brother-in-law's family moved into my parents-in-law's house. Our house and my husband's parents' house are about 10 minutes away by car. The house is very nice, like a wealthy family's house, and there is even a small pond in the garden, so it looks like a little castle. William likes to do the gardening. There were many colorful flowers in the garden. Soon after they moved in together, I went to my husband's parents' house to see how things were going. When I went to William's room, to my surprise, he was lying in a corner of the dimly lit walk-in closet. Not only that, the study that William had used before his injury was now being used by my husband's brother as if he owned it. I complained to Molly about the situation. "Molly, I think you're treating William very badly." "Oh, I can use the room for Fred's work." "William won't use it, so I'm just putting it to good use." But that doesn't stop me from feeling sorry for him in that dingy place. I got angry, and Molly got even angrier. "I'm using a place that's not being used, making the most of the space. Can't you even understand that?" I couldn't talk back anymore and went back to William. "I'm sorry to worry you," William said apologetically. "No, don't be sorry. Is there anything I can help you with?" Then William looked a bit lonely and said, "If you could do me a favor, would you water the flowers in my garden?" I looked and saw that the flowers in the garden, which were supposed to be beautiful, were limp. Fortunately, I also enjoyed gardening, so I readily agreed, and I visited my husband's parents' house every day to do the gardening, as well as take care of William. Molly and Fred and his wife looked annoyed, but I couldn't be bothered with that when I thought about William. A few weeks later, William celebrated his birthday. Molly informed us that William was turning 80 and that she was having a family birthday party. Harry and I were also invited, and it was supposed to be a fun birthday party. When we arrived at the house that day, the party had already started, and Fred and his wife and Molly were chatting about something. But we couldn't find William there. "Hey, where is William?" Molly answered smilingly. "Huh? He's at his usual place. It's so hard to bring William's bed. William told me to leave him alone and have fun without him." I was mortified. Then I got angry. But that didn't mean you could leave William alone. This is a celebration for William, right? Then Molly looked annoyed. "Then why don't you guys just go to William's? I don't like that dingy place." "Okay," I said, and so did my husband. "Mom, you're so awful," he murmured sadly. Then we both went to William's. "You came to see me?" William was very happy to see us. "Happy birthday. I hope you get well soon and recover from your injuries." We celebrated William's birthday in the dimly lit room. William was delighted with the yellow umbrella we had given him to use when he gets well, and he looked at it happily for a long time. After his birthday, I took care of the flowers in the garden every day. William remained bedridden. Then one day, something happened that made me shocked. Early in the morning, when I arrived at my husband's parents' house, Molly and Fred and his wife appeared in front of me, carrying several large suitcases. "Well, take care of William, will you?" I didn't get what was going on. "We're going on a week-long trip to Guam. You can tell by looking at us, you really are dumb," she said. "I didn't know you were going on a trip," I answered. "I don't have to tell you. You are at home every day anyway, taking care of William." "Huh? Well, what about William?" "You can take care of him. I can't take William with us. We're tired of taking care of him every day. Are we not even allowed to have a break every once in a while?" Molly got angry. Fred and his wife were just nodding and agreeing with her. I was beyond angry and disgusted. "All right then, take care." I said this with a lot of sarcasm and accepted the house key they gave me. "I'm looking forward to being abroad for the first time in a long time." Molly and Fred and his wife went off, ignoring my glare. After they departed, I hurriedly finished the gardening and went into William's room. "I'm sorry, Luna." William's face is downcast. "Please don't say that. Take your time." I set a small table next to the bed with William's favorite foods. Then I invited my husband to join us for dinner. It was a very delicious and enjoyable dinner. Then I noticed William's eyes were tearing up when he was sipping his soup. "Is everything all right? Something doesn't suit your taste?" I was worried, but William said quietly,
No, you always treated me well, and I'm really glad to have a good daughter-in-law like you.
Molly and Fred and his wife are always having a lively dinner downstairs while William is alone and lonely upstairs every day. Just the thought of it made my heart clench in my chest. The next day was a day off, so my husband and I decided to stay the night. The three of us chatted and enjoyed ourselves until William fell asleep. The next morning, when I saw the garden, I was surprised to see William standing there on his own taking care of the flowers. William?
Good morning, Luna.
William was doing the gardening as if nothing had happened. I hurriedly called my husband. Honey, William is standing there on his own. Come quickly. I was so surprised that my voice became strange.
What are you talking about? My father must be bedridden.
My husband, too, who has come scurrying to the edge of the house, reacted like me.
Huh?
He was speechless. William looked at us kindly and said softly,
Well, let us go camping.
We were surprised, but William remained calm. He asked us to prepare for an overnight trip. We were so surprised that we just did as we were told, and went back to our house to prepare. William was still standing on his own after all, and looking very well.
Could you drive for us?
We headed for a campground in the mountains. We put our bags down, settled in, and asked William, What the hell is going on? William chuckled and said,
I'm sorry I tricked you. I was a little skeptical. I guess it was right after we moved in together. I overheard a secret conversation between Molly and Fred.
It went something like this. William is going to be bedridden if he keeps this up. It's really annoying, Molly said.
Then there's a good facility. We'll put him there. He won't last long anyway. We can change the owner of the land and the house to us before Dad passes away, and if we can get him to write a will, it would be perfect. You would get a fair share too, Mom. Dad is bedridden, and he'll be convinced in no time if I talk to him.
Fred said, That's a good idea, and the sooner we make this clear, the better. We'll do it after we get back from our trip to Guam with William's pension money.
Okay.
At that point, William knew what they were planning to do after he passed away, and he got to know about the Guam trip.
This is no longer a family.
William thought so. He decided not to give any of the land, house, and property to Molly and Fred. William decided to pretend to be bedridden to fool Molly and Fred, and walked around the yard at night when they were asleep to keep his legs strong so that he would not completely lose the ability to walk. And then he decided to see who would get the inheritance. William said proudly,
I've been waiting for my chance ever since I pretended to be bedridden. I want you two to inherit everything.
Molly and Fred returned home a week later, after enjoying their trip to Guam. By then, William had consulted a lawyer and changed the title of the house and land to my husband. He also completed the will regarding the inheritance. Then, Molly, Fred, and his wife returned home.
Wait, what's wrong?
They were shocked to see William strolling around. William just said to them,
I need to talk to you about the future. Come to the living room.
William called all the family members to the living room.
William, why are you standing on your own?
William answered,
I recovered a long time ago, and I've been doing rehabilitation work secretly in the middle of the night when you're all asleep so that I won't lose the ability to walk. I know everything you're up to.
Huh? Molly was shocked.
You would have put me in an institution and tried to take the land and house for yourselves and inherit everything from me.
Molly and Fred became pale.
It must be some kind of misunderstanding. I'm sure of it because I heard you and Molly talking in my room with my own ears. I'm sure you enjoyed your trip to Guam with the pension I'd saved up. I found out about that with just one look at the bank book.
William glared at them.
First of all, I've decided to give this house and land to my eldest son, Harry.
And he spread the deeds on the table.
What?
Molly and Fred froze, their faces pale.
There's more. Listen.
William did not care about their reaction and continued his talk.
I've decided to ask Harry and his wife to take care of my estate, and I've drawn up a will. Why? I'm sorry to say this, but Harry is an ordinary businessman, and we can manage the money better than him. After all, I run a company.
Fred finally interrupted.
Managing money can indeed be difficult. That's why I made sure to introduce him to a good lawyer and tax accountant.
But William, Fred is better at everything than Harry. Molly got insistent, but William said,
Fred, isn't your company on the verge of collapse?
How did you know that?
A friend of mine from my days as a business owner is well informed, and he told me that your company is looking for a large loan, but that you don't think you can repay it.
Huh? At William's suggestion, Fred began to look like he was about to cry.
Come to think of it, a reporter from a business newspaper came to interview me the other day. He said something about investments.
With that remark, my husband held out a business card from a well-known newspaper on the desk.
Then that reporter wanted me to tell you that he'd already backed it up. What does it mean, Fred?
William asked, and Fred seemed to have given up.
It's true. I made a bad investment. I got the money from the investors, and when I handed it over to him, he disappeared. They took the money and ran. I wanted to sell the real estate I was going to inherit from you and use it to pay off the debt.
Fred confessed and looked down at the floor. Fred, you said you were going to make money. What about my share?
Oh, wait. Mom, you had invested in it too?
My husband looked up to the heavens. I invested $300,000 because I heard it would surely make money. I told the same story to my friends, and they must have invested about $200,000 in total. So, $500,000 in total? I was shocked too.
What kind of a company owner are you when you can't even recognize such a scam? I can't trust my fortune to someone like that. Shame on you. Molly, I knew about your investment of $300,000. I checked all the bank books when you went on our trip to Guam. You will take the responsibility, and you will leave this house.
I can't do that, William. I only have this house to live in.
It was you and Fred who neglected your precious home. Dad, please help us.
William, please. Ignoring their desperate begging, William left the room. After that, Fred had to pay back his investors and let go of the company. He tried to start another company, but it failed because he lost all trust in society. Fred's wife would never forgive him for such a situation, and they divorced soon after. Even with Molly, with whom he had been so close when they no longer had any money, they ended up fighting terribly. In the end, they had a terrible quarrel. William and Molly also divorced. When they divorced, their property was divided, but most of it had to be used to pay off Molly's friends who invested, so there was very little left over. Molly, who got in financial trouble after the divorce, managed to live with the little allowance William gives her every month, but all we hear are complaints. She has no family, no money, and lives lonely on her own. The other day I met Molly passing through my neighborhood. She was still arrogant. Living alone is so much easier. But I could see her loneliness. Harry and me, we moved to William's house. I enjoy gardening with William every day. In addition, our son has a new family member. This time it was a girl, and everyone was happy. And the happiest of all is William. His grandson comes to visit every weekend with his great-grandson. When it rains, William happily holds up the yellow umbrella we gave him the other day and goes out for a walk. The sight of William, like that, makes me feel happy every day.